Chris Scouser here with
Matt Howell. And this week on the first run, we make some new friends and go on a quiet retreat in the country.
I've always wanted to get away with you.
I know it will. In time.
Nice.
In time. Surely nothing bad will happen at all on this little trip that we're going to, but we'll talk about that. Then we catch up with the latest from first run favorite Jeremy Saulnier for a bit of the ultraviolence ? With Rebel Ridge. As always, we give you the big releases on physical media, the Viper video and streaming picks of the week, and then we wrap it all up with another round of our fill-in-the-blank game, TFR Libs. So let's get this party started with a little bit of Speak No Evil, even though I'm sure you've seen the trailer over and over and over again.
It is nice that we can finally put that to bed, isn't it?
It is.
Nice.
Ooh. Oh, God. What happened? Honey, let her into the tap. You all right? Hey, Patty, can you come take a look at this?
Yeah, sure.
God, there's a doctor in the house.
I'm not a doctor.
What?
Wait, but didn't you say you were a doctor?
Did I?
In Italy, you...
No. Sometimes when I meet new people, I'll get a little bit self-conscious, you know?
I just wanted to make a good impression.
Yeah.
What do you do then?
Well, I don't do anything.
Like, anything?
No, I don't work. I don't believe in it. Let's get that fixed. Where's the plasters? Look at their faces.
You should have taken a picture.
Of course I'm a bloody doctor. We've totally had that. We totally had you, right? How else could we afford all this? Come here.
Wow, and they had me, Matt. Let me tell you. Whew, I was a little nervous there. It was a weird little thing. But I'm well, of course he's a doctor. It's James McAvoy. I mean, he's Charles Xavier, right? He's at least a doctor, if not...
He's a professor, at least.
But he does all those split personalities, too. There's a lot going on with that guy. He's a complicated man. So, are you asking me? What are we doing here? Am I telling you what this is all about?
So back in the day when we had two, I would go first. So you asked me what this film is all about.
All right, Matt. What is Speak No Evil all about?
Well, a American couple with their preteen tween daughter, they go on a trip to Italy. They are having some struggles in their personal lives, and they meet a couple that they seem to hit it off with, even though they're a little bit creepily gregarious and shovey. But they decide that they're going to go and stay at their house in the countryside of, where are they? England, Ireland, and
London, yeah. Well, no, wait, that's what our friends are. Our good guys are in London.
Our good guys are in London, yes. And quickly, they come to find out that they're not everything that they say they are, and something sinister may be afoot.
I like Scoot McNairy. Not only is it one of my favorite names, but I've always enjoyed Scoot, and watching him in this, I was thinking, man, Scoot's getting, no offense, he's getting a little older. And I looked at him, I just looked him up now, he's 46. I am older than Scoot McNairy. Dare I say, I think I look a little better than he does. Now, is he much more successful and talented than me? Perhaps. But still. Which, if you haven't seen him in Killing Them Softly, which is a first-round favorite, he's fantastic. He's most fantastic in almost everything he's in. I've always enjoyed Scoot. I love you, Scoot. Matt, Speak No Evil. Did you watch the 2022 OG?
So, fitting in a third film for this show was a little too much, so I did not get a chance to catch up with it.
Okay. You should rectify that as soon as you can. But I want to warn you. It is much darker.
Okay.
Much more nihilistic.
Okay.
And I will say a much more effective film.
Okay.
What were your thoughts on Speak No Evil? So I can't come after you in regards to the original. So how was this for you as a thriller kind of horror film and with our boy McAvoy? And Scoot, you can, if you want to opine on Scoot, you're welcome to.
I think it's relatively effective. I don't think it's anything earth-shattering. I think it's your...
I got to get you a new phrase. I'm going to start noting every time you say earth-shattering. So,
really?
Yeah, you're like me. What was that one phrase I said like every week for like a month and a half once, and you called me out on? I'm like, you gotta stop saying.
I forget what it was. I remember calling you out on it, but I don't remember which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Continue. Not earth shattering, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's a well crafted thriller. It's kind of like a middle of the road thing that you would expect to see, you know, and a kind of early fall, late summer release. I think McAvoy is a lot of fun chewing up the scenery. He's bulked up a little bit, so he's pretty imposing in it. I think the rest of the cast is pretty good for the most part. I think this thing is severely hampered by the fact that you saw everything you needed to see in the trailers, because basically every single
any movie you went to for the past 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, seriously. But like it lays out everything that's going to happen. They, you know, lay out the fact that the kid is not theirs and that he had his tongue cut out and that these guys are creepy and they're going to find out and there's going to be a chase scene and there's going to be, you know, peril in the house and all that kind of stuff. But even knowing all of that and knowing that it's coming, there are bits of this that you didn't see that are quite effective, and they kind of put you on the edge of your seat. Overall, I think I was surprised I liked it as much as I did, to be quite honest with you. I did not expect to like this just because I figured I would have seen everything in the trailer. And granted, I saw 75% of it, but the rest of it's still there. It's still pretty good.
Yeah, so I am hurt. I am hampered by the fact that I saw the original like 4 days before I watched this. And that is a far superior film.
Right.
It really is. But it's a lot darker. And it's much, I think, a little bit, too, about Rebel Ridge, which we'll talk about a little bit. Sometimes your expectations, what you expect the film to be, can impact your enjoyment of it. And you have to work kind of to try and treat it at its own separate beast. And I will say, it has the same kind of plot points, the same ingredients, but when they mix it all together, this chef, James Watkins, he comes up with a different meal for you.
Sure.
All right? It is different than the original film, which I think is good. I mean, I go back and forth on this. If I'm going to see a remake, I want you to bring a little something different to the proceedings, because that way, too, I can always enjoy the original. I can go back and revisit it whenever I want. And to do something different with it, I think is fine. It's just, for me, it's not that successful for the most part. I mean, so this is the guy. Watkins directed Eden Lake, which is a great little raw, really intimidating, unsettling film.
Okay.
He did Woman in Black, which is the Daniel Radcliffe horror film, which is kind of an homage. It may even be a Hammer film that I think is kind of middling. All right. Now, I haven't seen Bastille Day, which came out in 2016, and this is his first film since then. And independent of an engagingly unhinged performance by James McAvoy, I just don't think it's that great. I think it's a little rote. It's some people say it's not earth-shattering, and it hasn't really brought anything new to the table, I think is another Howellism, or not breaking new ground, or something to that effect. And that's part of my concern. While the first one, the original one, has so much to say, it is so smart. There's one of the things I will tell you about the first film. Like, there's this key line in this film that I don't know if I'm going to spoil it or not by saying, why are you doing this? And he's like, because you let me. And the power of that line in the Danish film, and then again, this is only 2022. We're not talking about ancient history here, right? It's so much more relevant and powerful in the original film because how that one unrolls, how it plays out, that here it's so muted and weak in this film. And again, that's just, I think, unfortunately, my having been punched in the gut from the original watching this. And I will say, too, it's a Danish film. I think it's a co-production, Danish and something else. I can't remember. Is it Danish and Netherlands? But, yeah, Denmark and Netherlands. But that film is probably 70% in English. And I think that was a conscious choice by the director. And if you watch it, you'll understand why.
Okay.
And, again, all I'm going to tell you is watch the original. I believe it's streaming on Shudder. but you should seek it out. But just prepare yourself. It's a downer, baby. And I don't think I'd recommend watching it with like a family member or any kids or anything. It is like an unsettling experience. And what I love about the first one too, Matt, is that it is ominous from the word go. I mean, as soon as the film starts, they have the music, the score is just placing you in this place of just despair. Like from the beginning, you know something's horrible is gonna happen. And this one, unfortunately, just plays out like most horror, thriller, crazy guy films that you've seen, 100 times in the past. It's saved by McAvoy. And that's, I guess, all I really have to say about it. It's real. That's all I can say is McAvoy makes this thing watchable. It gives it a spark that I think outside of him, it probably wouldn't have. I like Mackenzie Davis a lot. Mm-hmm. I think she's a great actress. I think she does a little bit of, I think, some good work here as well as the wife, the spouse, the mom, who's trying to navigate what's happening and figure out what's happening and try and protect her family. But it's just, man, you got to watch the original. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, so part of the reason I had heard nothing but good things, and it was something I wanted to catch up with, I think, last year when it came out, but I just don't think we had time for it. Or, as another phrase that I overuse, I don't think Chris really had any juice for it to fit in all the other stuff that had to be watched.
You never have to retire juice. I love the juice.
But, but part of the reason I didn't go out of my way to see it is because I had heard such good things, and I had a feeling that this would in no way be able to stand up to it. So I didn't want to. It's almost like I was starting with the course that I knew wasn't going to be as good, and so I could take it on its own merits and not compare it to something vastly superior. So I think I probably enjoyed this way more than Chris did. Well, I obviously did, because I don't have any kind of point of comparison for another darker film. So I will watch it eventually. I probably will, come to think less of this one when that happens, but overall, I had a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's my fault because in the end
we don't have to discuss it.
We don't have to discuss it because I've seen. Matt didn't see the original, and I don't want to waste people's time.
Sure,
I'm going to give this new version of Speak No Evil. I'm going to give it a C on the strength of McAvoy.
Okay.
All right, I think it's worth it for that. I think there's enough of a scare here, and it's tense enough. And I'll say, too, my last thing about, because I've totally turned this into a discussion about the 2022 version, is it will divide people. I think there will be people who will watch that film and absolutely hate it.
Right.
All right? I think, but it's because I think the feelings and the things that it emotes and that's going to bring up in you. And it's one of those films where it's one of like, well, why don't you just leave? Just go. You have to go. Why would and you're going to look at the characters' decisions and just not really buy into them. But if you understand the psychology of what's happening and what the director Christian Taftrup, he also co-wrote it, what he's trying to tell you, then it's all going to work. Mm-hmm. But for this version, I'm giving it a C.
Yeah, so I'm going to be a lot more generous. I had a relatively good time. I'm going to give it a B. I think it's a solid, adult thriller fare.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Because of McAvoy, I'm gonna meet you a little halfway. I'm gonna go C+.
Okay,
I like that.
Okay, yeah.
I like McAvoy that much in this that I'm gonna give it a little squeeze, or now it's a little juice,
a little oomph, a little lift. Yeah.
A little pop, a little blow pop right there, just for my buddy. I understand from what I read, McAvoy said that Joaquin Phoenix was supposed to be in this. In Split.
Yeah.
He's doing a tour, and I guess promoting this. I guess it came up because Joaquin dropped out of that film.
Yeah.
And he says, he was supposed to be in Split, too, and he bailed like 2 weeks before production or something like that, and then he brought him in. And I want to say, too, McAvoy is really, I guess I hadn't really thought about it, but I think he's really kind of becoming one of my favorite working actors right now. Because he's always doing something interesting. His performances are always really engaging, right? I think I just love watching him on screen. He's such a diverse kind of over at this point as well. Kind of going out of the, if you pull him out of the whole X-Men films. I like this movie, Trance. I like that movie Trance. Which is a Danny Boyle film. Atonement is fantastic, right? Well, I'm not the biggest fan of Wanted, but yeah, he's one of those guys, Matt. When I see, McAvoy's in it, this will be good. Right.
Or at least he'll be good in it.
Exactly. So if you had a chance to see Speak No Evil, either version, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Speak No Evil is currently in theaters near you. Matt, let's go ahead and spend a few minutes to talk about what's coming up on physical media this upcoming Tuesday, September 24th. Part of the Screen Run John Carpenter season. Not one of my favorite entries, but it does have its fans. And Scream Factory is bringing it to 4K on Tuesday.
Another man is dead. Why do you hate us so much, Mara?
It isn't a matter of hate. It is a biological obligation. We're thinking of what happened to the others. Then our actions shouldn't surprise you. We have to survive no matter what the cost. We are the only ones left now.
Well, I don't see why we can't reach an understanding. Then why can't we just live together?
If we coexist, we shall dominate you. That is inevitable. Eventually, you will try to eliminate us. We are all creatures of the life force. Now it has set us at one another to see who will survive.
That's a cruel sport.
Life is cruelty.
Girls got a point. John Carpenter's Village of the Damned is being released in 4K this upcoming Tuesday, September 24th. Matt, where do you fall on Village of the Damned? Carpenter's remake, at least. And then what do you think of the original, if you've seen it?
So I remember hearing about the original. I didn't think the original was that great. I think it's very much a kind of pulpy, creepy kids film.
Yeah.
I saw the first one and I haven't seen it since basically it came out, and I didn't particularly like it. I was not that impressed with it when I saw it the first time.
Yeah, the Carpenter one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. There's parts of it that I like. Just Carpenter's, a bunch of his returning characters show up. And then really Chris Reeve. I have a soft spot for that guy. There's some Superman, or I should say Christopher Reeve documentary coming out too that I'm interested in checking out. Like Gunn has been promoting it a lot on Instagram and stuff. But all right, so we got that one. What else is coming up? I don't even know, Matt, if I've numbered these correctly, so let's find out together.
Number 5.
So number 5 here for your 4K. Well, I guess your releases. Bad Boys Ride or Die being released. We did not see this because I confess, I think I talked about it at the time, I have never seen a single Bad Boys film.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've seen any of them. But, you haven't. I thought I couldn't remember if you hadn't seen them or you just weren't a fan.
I've seen like bits and pieces of them. I've never seen any of them the whole way through.
You know what, then?
We don't have to discuss it.
We don't have to discuss it. So you can see we need a steelbook coming out on that as well. Where are we? Number 4? 4 sounds good.
4.
Greg Araki's Teen Apocalypse trilogy being released by Criterion. They're putting out 3 of his films: Totally Effed Up, The Doom Generation, and Nowhere. 2K restoration of Totally Effed Up, new 4K restorations of The Doom Generation and Nowhere. Now, I'm not familiar with Nowhere. From what I understand, it was actually an MTV show, and they ended up not showing some of the episodes because of how graphic and violent they were.
Okay.
But now they're I don't know if it's collected and condensed into this, or if it's the whole thing. I confess you'll have to do some research on that on your own. But The Doom Generation is in this as well. It had previously been released on Blu-ray by, I couldn't tell you, but it's included in this set. And I'll just say, Doom Generation, fairly impactful for me, due to particular Ms. Rose McGowan in that film. So it includes, what else? Some new conversations, a new audio commentary, some archival ones, and a new documentary about the film as well. Films, plural, I should say. So I'll be waiting for this for the Barnes & Noble sale, because it's going to run you about $90 for the 4K, and I think like $70, $80 for the Blu-ray. So I'll see you, Barnes & Noble, in probably a couple months.
Can you hit it from there?
I got 3 shots. That's enough.
Can't argue with a confident man.
Radiance is releasing a pair of films, A Man on His Knees and then Tattooed Life. Both gangster films in their own way. Mistaken as a witness to a crime, Nino learns from a friend he's been put on a mafia hit list and is being stalked by an assassin. So this is an Italian kind of gangster film, A Man on His Knees. It's a brand new 4K restoration of that. And then Tattooed Life is about after his own gang sets him up to kill a rival mobster, a hitman is forced to flee with his younger brother. This is I don't know if it's a Yakuza film per se, but it is an Asian gangster film, both being released by Radiance. And one of the cool things I like about Radiance is that for their limited editions, they actually do OBI strips, like Japanese vinyl would do, right? So those first runs always include the OBI strips. I don't know if it's going to be the new slipcovers. I don't know. But it's a cool little thing that I like that they do. So what's up, Matt? Number 2?
That's a number 2.
Friday the 13th. This is the 2009 version being released in 4K. I think I showed you, or I mentioned last week, that I already got my 4K copy of it last week. But this is the official street date. And includes both the theatrical cut and the extended killer cut in 4K. I watched the killer cut over the weekend. I had a little Friday the 13th fest. I watched the original film, the, what is it, the unrated, it's not the unrated, the killer cut, I think that's what it's called. I'm halfway through part 2. And I watched the killer cut of the reboot, and I've always been a Freddy guy, a Jason guy, a Friday guy is what I wanted to say, and it's been a fun little revisit. I've actually been burning. I have my box set on my desk, and I've been burning myself digital copies of them, so I can just kind of pop them on whenever I want at this point. And I actually started a Letterboxd list too. So Matt and I are both on Letterboxd, and I'm ranking them by horniness. So I think right now I have part 2 as number 1 as the horniest, but we'll see how that goes. So Matt, I can't remember. You're not a big Jason guy, right?
I'm not. I always thought it was kind of hokey, and like I just never could really get into them. I tried, but I've seen most of them, but I just overall I think they're just a little campy for my tastes.
I like how the 09 one kind of condenses the first 3 films into like 20 minutes.
Right.
Another thing too I didn't realize when I was reading up on the movies, because I got all into it, is that the first 4 films take place like in a week and a half of each other.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Which that totally blew my mind. So this disc also includes a whole bunch of brand new interviews with the director, writer, cinematographer, as well as a brand new audio commentary by the director, Marcus Nispel, as well, and the writers. And Marcus actually he got this job because he did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot that was so popular as well. I haven't revisited that probably since it came out. When was the last time you saw that?
God. Probably around the same time. I may have caught it once more a little bit later, but I have not revisited that one often.
I still have the DVD when that unfolds and is like a chainsaw.
Yeah,
when you take it apart and stuff.
Yeah,
and it has the steel kind of plate for some reason.
Sure,
I still have it. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know if I need to upgrade that at some point. I gotta stop. And the thing too about this re-release, I should tell you, is it includes excerpts from the Terror trivia track. So the original Blu-ray killer cut actually had a trivia track that ran through the whole film. This one only has excerpts of it. So if you're thinking of ditching your killer cut Blu-ray and you're a fan of that feature, keep that in mind. You're going to lose it. Everything else I think is ported over though. And finally, your number 1 release, Matt. And I'm going to make this too, I'm going to make this the Viper Video Pick of the Week as well. Because you can reach out to Shelby at Viper Video Tampa, and he'll hold one for you, or he'll mail one out to you. I know he's getting a few. He's already going to hold one for me. This is our number 1. There can be only one. Oz Perkins' His Long Legs is being released in Blu-ray and 4K. You get an audio commentary by Perkins, some on-the-set interviews, and 3 making-of featurettes. But I don't know what it is, Matt. The further I've gotten away from seeing this, the more I want to rewatch it again. I watched a video the other day on YouTube. I wish I should have wrote it down so I could give the guy some credit. But he spotted like all the times the devil appears in the background of the film. Like he'll fade in and fade out like in doorways and shadows and stuff. It's like 11 times. So I want to like rewatch it, see if I can catch them all myself. And I don't know. I like really want to rewatch this film again. So are you going to be picking up Long Legs?
Yeah, at some point when it hits the right price point. But yeah, that's the one that will be joining the collection.
There you go. What else is coming out on Blu-ray? I think also in 4K. Criterion is releasing Happiness, Todd Solondz family drama comedy that you should watch with your grandparents and children. I'm being sarcastic. Do not watch that with any elderly or children in any capacity. What else? There is a Transformers 7 movie collection. So everything up to this point is going to be included in a 4K box set. Because we have that new Optimus Prime, what is it, the Cybertron reboot origin thing coming out. And then Body Double, Brian De Palma's classic kind of giallo film is being released. It's going to be a steelbook right now, but you'll be able to pick it up in a 4K steelbook. It has newly added archival EPK interviews with De Palma, Craig Wasson and Melanie Griffith, and includes the music video Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and then 4 classic featurettes. Also, too, if you've been waiting for some reason, you can pick up a brand new Mad Max 4K collection, which is all the films now, including Furiosa. And then finally, Murder on the Orient Express, the original one from '74, is getting a 4K release, and there's going to be a new Steelbook 4K of the film Stardust. Matt, what should we be streaming this week?
Well, we've passed Friday the 13th, but available for your viewing pleasure is a spin on Friday the 13th from the perspective of a Jason-like killer in a violent nature is available on Shudder. I quite enjoyed it. I don't think Chris liked it quite as much as I did, but overall, it's an interesting take on the slasher genre and, gives you an idea insofar as how ridiculous it is that Jason's just wandering around the woods the whole time.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to see what he's doing in the interim while the co-eds or everybody are making out or playing, tricks on each other. And, yeah. No, I've warmed, I don't know if that's the right term, to that film. Yeah, I'd like to maybe see that again, see how it holds up. All right, Matt, let's keep rolling then. It's been a few minutes to talk about the latest Saulnier joint, which I was very excited about when I heard it, though disappointed that I had to watch it on Netflix. So I'm sure Matt was just exuberant. He was excited that he got to watch this from home. Let's talk about Rebel Ridge.
The acronym you need to worry about right now is PACE. P-A-C-E. Ever heard of it? It's a plan and methodology used for comm systems, but they found it could be applied anywhere. Nursing, engineering, parachute infiltrations, posting bail. So the P is for primary. That's me, riding into town with my bag of money. A is for alternate. That's a deal we apparently never made. C is my contingency. That's the restaurant owner you put out of business this morning. And there it is. Spot on, too, like you just ate shit. Anyway, you got me burning through all these letters. And after this conversation, we already on E. You know what that stands for?
I'm terrified to find out. You'll have to watch to see. Matt, is there anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, so Chris, what is Rebel Ridge all about?
So Terry Richmond, played by a magnetic Aaron Pierre, is a former Marine who is biking down to the town of Shelby Springs to post bail for his cousin. He's got a little drug charge. He's trying to get him out of the hooscow because his cousin ratted out some gang guy. And if he goes into jail, he probably ain't going to make it out. And what happens is he runs afoul of the local police who use the, what's it called? The confiscation. It actually has a name for it. Why am I blanking on what it's called? Oh, that's embarrassing. Basically, what allows law enforcement to... Civil forfeiture. Thank you, Matt. He's got $30K in cash, right? $36,000 in cash on him. $10,000 for the bail and $26,000 for something else. I'll let you find out what that is when you watch it. They confiscate it because they think, wink, wink, it's drug money. Because these cops is crooked. So then it's going to, Matt, turn it into what I was hoping for, right? This big, grand, violent, disturbingly handsome black man who kills a bunch of KKK cops, right? That's what I'm walking in thinking, and that's not what I get. And in the end, I think that's okay. Matt, what were your thoughts on Rebel Ridge? And did you have that same impression going into the film? And how do you feel like when you go in with a preconceived notion of a movie you're going to watch and then you get something different?
Well, so let me just put this out this way. So I went into this extremely blind. I had really no idea what this was about. I didn't even read the little blurb on Netflix before I started it up. All I knew was that it was a Jeremy Saulnier film. I'm expecting something with very graphic, realistic violence that makes you cringe, something with some intense scenes in it. But other than that, I didn't really know what to expect. What I got with this, I think, is... Even with that, I think I was a little bit taken aback because it's not... There are action sequences and there is violence in this, but there is a lot less than what you would expect, what we saw in some of his previous work. It's no Blue Room, and it's certainly no Green Room as far as graphic, stuff going on is, right?
Yep.
So I was a little surprised with that to an extent. But and other than the fact that Jeremy Saulnier must be really into jujitsu, because this is the second character who's like really into jujitsu and like is a super fighter with it. But yeah, I think this is a solid action film with, I think, a message around something that actually happens that I think Jeremy Saulnier views as a real injustice, and he wants to bring it to more people's attention. And he's kind of wrapped it all up in this, somewhat exciting, corrupt cops. But again, just like you said, it's not corrupt in the sense that it's like they're KKK or they're like out lynching people or anything like that. I mean, there's an undercurrent, a bit of what you would expect in Alabama, but that's not really what it's about. It's more about the corrupting influence of money and trying to keep your heads above water when you're having a tough time. And it even makes you understand kind of why they're doing it, even if it's not right, but just the kind of injustice of all this stuff that is, legal in our country, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. For me, this was like years ago, a friend of mine, as a Christmas present, bought me Raw Power on vinyl. And I had said I wanted Funhouse, the Stooges albums.
Right.
And I was just getting into the Stooges again at this point. And again, but at this point, this is like 20 plus years ago. I don't even know. And I ended up I ended up falling in love with Raw Power and thinking it's actually a far superior album.
Right.
So my expectations were one thing, and I ended up finding something else entirely that I absolutely loved. And Matt's entirely right. Part of me feels like I'm watching this thing, and there is a relentlessness to it. There is a pace to it, and it is very exciting. It's over 2 hours long, and there are the action in it it's not consistent. It's not like somebody described it, I think, online as the thinking man's Rambo, with no, of course, disrespect to the first film, right? Because First Blood is very much an intelligent kind of thrilling action film. And this, though, I was watching it like, man, I wish there was like a mainstream theatrical release, because I think maybe it'd have a wider audience. And I'm like, well, maybe not. Maybe Netflix is the right place for this kind of a message. Probably more people are going to watch it at home than would go on to see a Jeremy Saulnier film, because they're probably not as familiar with his work.
Right.
But Netflix probably gets a more wider audience, which it does pain me to a little degree, but still, I understand it. So I then hope that it will get the recognition it deserves, because like Matt says, I think it is a brilliant treatise on the government left unchecked, can kind of take things that they initially are conceived to potentially be helpful, right? And they end up getting corrupted for their own purposes. And even then, like Matt says, the corruption isn't entirely evil. Like Don Johnson's monologue in this film is reasonable, right? I mean, when he talks about what's happened now, a lot of the cops in this are dirty. They're bad, right? But the logic behind some of the stuff he does, it's not entirely bent. It isn't. And it makes for a really interesting experience, right? And I think that it exposes kind of our refusal as a society to enact the things that we say we care about, but we never take the next step to finally fully do it. So end up people getting trapped in all this stuff, and they fall through the cracks, and their lives can be destroyed. Silver forfeiture was created to be able to seize, like, yachts and cash for like drug dealers and kingpins and stuff like that. But it gets corrupted, and now lots of people end up getting stuff stolen from them, cash, cars, whatever, that are not these vile, evil, criminal masterminds, and it ruins their lives. And this film is really kind of making a grand statement about all of this. And I'll walk into this thing, Matt, or sitting down in my chair, looking for this nice white supremacist revenge film. And I get this thoughtful kind of political statement wrapped up in an adventure action film where our hero at no point basically really fires a single shot to kill anybody.
Right.
Not once.
Right. And
it is insanely successful at that. And I was just blown away by how much I enjoyed Rebel Ridge.
Yeah, so let me ask you this, Chris. So initially, John Boyega was on tap to star as in the Aaron Pierce role, but he randomly dropped out. I don't think this film, watching how good Pierce is in this, I can't even visualize John Boyega in this role. But I guess, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you agree with me on that one?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I like Boyega. They Killed Tyrone is a great film, and he's fantastic in it. But the way Aaron Pierre just owns this role, and he commands the screen every time he's on it, and he's on it basically almost the entire film.
Right.
There's a bunch of there's some of the smaller scenes with the attorney woman thing. I can't remember her exact job. The clerk.
Yeah, right. The assistant clerk.
Courthouse clerk, right? That's Summer McBride is her character's name. But regardless, yes, Matt is entirely correct. And part of me, I would love to see like the next adventures of Terry Richmond. Not that I want to franchise this and then water it down. And I definitely wouldn't want it to take a Rambo turn at all. But it's a character, or at least an actor, for sure, that I definitely want to see again. He's just magnetic on the screen. He carries himself so well, and he has this silent strength, and his presentation, everything about him, you just want to see. You want him on the screen when he's not there. And like they say, like the kids say, a star is born, I think, Matt. And then James Cromwell pops up in this as well, which is a fun little treat. And Don Johnson, who I love, seeing him in, I don't know why, he just seems to gravitate to these bad guy corrupt cop roles, but or sheriffs, if I may, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, no, I agree with you entirely about Pierre and Boyega.
Yeah,
he just owns this role. I wouldn't want it. I can't see, after watching this, I cannot see Boyega in this film.
So is this now your favorite Saulnier joint? Is it displaced Green Room and or Blue Run for you?
I don't know. I think I got an Edgar Wright thing going on with this, where Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz probably. I go back and forth as to which one of those films are my favorite. But the best thing he's done, I think, to this day, is probably The World's End.
Okay.
So like that, I think like this is probably Saulnier's best film. But I don't know if it's my favorite, because I think any longtime listeners would know the show. I like my violence and gore and and just the like Johnson, just like Patrick Stewart was so great to watch in Green Room. Johnson is just as effective. Well, that's the thing. He's not. Stewart's evil in that film. I don't know. It's just so much nastier, Matt. Green Room than this. So I think Green Room still probably comes out on top, and Blue Ruin too. Murder Party I've seen is pretty good. I like Murder Party, and Hold the Dark I think probably is for me the weakest thing he's done so far.
Yeah,
he didn't write that. Macon Blair, who's like one of his normal partners, wrote that. But speaking of Macon Blair, when are we going to get that Toxic Avenger film? What the hell's going on with that thing?
I don't know what to tell you about that.
But anyway, yeah, I think Green Room still wins out for me. But if you want to ask me, what is Jeremy Saulnier's best film? What's the best thing he's made? I think it's Rebel Ridge, though I would probably revisit Green Room more often than this. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I think Green Room still is hands down. I think that Green Room is like probably top 30 film ever for me, because I just enjoy it so much. But yeah, I did enjoy this a lot. I just don't think it's as good as Green Room at this point.
Yeah, I actually did start to rewatch Rebel Ridge.
Oh, did you?
The other day,
Wow.
I watched it over the weekend, and then I think was it yesterday, or even today, I had it on again.
Okay,
just because I was trying to get some of my last minute thoughts down one more time, and I just popped it on again, and I'm like, man, this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
So I'm giving Rebel Ridge an A. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A-, just because it can't match the Green Room A to me.
I think that's fair. I still love that one scene when the sheriff, the police, the woman there. She's like, he's on the Wikipedia page. It's just, I love that.
You getting that Wi-Fi? You got that Wi-Fi going yet?
When she says it, he's on the Wikipedia page. You're like, oh no, some bad shit's about to go down.
Right.
But if you had a chance to see Rebel Ridge, which is currently streaming on Netflix, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Just an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, I'm so upset because when I watched this on Netflix, I had so much compression on my stream. I don't know if I was having internet issues at the time.
Yeah.
But like the black levels were horrible. It was all not quite pixelated, but it was bad.
Okay.
And it really stunk. Now I don't have like the HDR 4K plan on Netflix, so I don't know if that's the issue. I'm honestly I'm not going to pay for it. But it stunk, and it bothered me a few times. So just a heads up on that. Like the dark scenes were almost a little washed out because of it, and it's just not great. So get your ass together, Netflix. All right, Matt. Let's wrap up the big show and spend a few minutes playing TFR Libs. Let's fill in dem blanks. What have I got first? Oh! I saw this the other day, and I got to tell you, I'm on the fence. There's things about this original film that I like. There's other things about it that still make me angry. But supposedly, they're moving forward with the sequel after 10, 15, is it 20 years?
Lou, what took you so long? Hello, John. John, hello. You're the one soul I would come up here to collect myself. Mm-hmm. So I've heard.
Still one of my favorite portrayals of the devil, Peter Stormare as Lucifer in Constantine. This is the Keanu Reeves version. I still makes me angry that we not only do we have a brunette Constantine, but he's American and not English. One of my favorite comic characters of all time. The TV show, at least it was a blonde guy and he's English. So the Matt Ryan, I think, was a great Constantine. But the show itself was kind of just okay. So I'm still desperate for like an HBO series. I don't know why they haven't done a horror series on HBO for Constantine. It's so perfect for it, and it's to this day. That and Starman are like the two that I feel would be perfect, but nobody can seem to get their act together. Anyway, Matt, so I guess it was reported online that they have a script. Keanu's all in.
Yep.
And they're going to make a Constantine 2. So, Matt, you feel blank about Constantine 2.
I feel excited for Constantine 2. So here's the thing. I love Constantine. I adore that series. I love him as a character. I think that the film, I really didn't like it when I first saw it. For all the reasons that Chris loaded out there. It's an American, he's not as kind of smarmy and charming. He's very kind of grizzled, pulp noir version of it. Plus he's got a really dumb shotgun thing, which is just ridiculous. But at the same time, when you kind of take a step back, and if you look at it on its own merits, that it's just kind of this supernatural detective story kind of thing, it really kind of works, right? It's like, you've got a guy from Raymond Chandler who's like a spiritual demonic detective, right? And I think that really works just by the sheer fact that it's Constantine is what kind of ruins it for you, right? If you look at it separate from that, it's a lot of fun and I really enjoy the film. Like you said, Stormare is great. I like what is her name?
Shia?
No, who plays
Tilda
Gabriel?
Swinton as Gabriel?
Tilda Sweeney as Gabriel.
Yeah, she's great.
I think those are all excellent turns. So I'm looking forward to see what they can do. And I read that it's going to be a hard rated R. So I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do with that.
I know you're really excited, hopefully, that they bring back Gavin Rossdale.
I am, because he was fantastic. He was the best part of that film.
I will say, too, another great thing is its portrayal or How it showed hell, I think,
Yeah.
was really good too.
That was really interesting.
But yeah, so you feel blank about Constantine? You're excited?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Excited is my
Okay.
blank, is my fill-in.
I feel, as I always say, cautiously optimistic.
Way to commit.
I think that there are some good things I enjoy about it. I think Matt's entirely right. If you separate the character from the lore of who it is and you just treat it kind of as its own property, like I always cut a lot, probably more slack than I should give it. Like that RoboCop reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the original RoboCop did not exist, then maybe it'd be an enjoyable little sci-fi action film. I think that for this too. And if you're going to give me a hard R, lots of horror and stuff, then yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to enjoy it. I recently had that on DVD. I had that limited edition DVD that came with the excerpts from the graphic novels.
Yeah.
And I upgraded it though. I bought the Blu-ray, but this is what I do now. Is if I have cool DVD packaging, I'll put the Blu-ray in the DVD packaging. Like I have my Unbreakable set from was it Dimension? Who put that out? Buena Vista. They had that Buena Vista kind of limited series of DVDs, like Boogie Nights did the same thing. These really nice little sets. So I got my Unbreakable 4K, popped it in that DVD set. Sharp.
Nice.
What do you got for me, Matt?
All right, so Beetlejuice is tearing up the box office. Made another $50 million this past weekend. So, Hollywood...
Wait.
We don't have to discuss it.
We don't have to discuss it. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Way to throw me off my game here. So, Hollywood always learns the wrong lessons. And they're going to think, what that was make this so popular? The fact that it's an 80s legacy sequel. So, Chris, the next legacy sequel for an 80s property will be blank.
I really feel like it's Goonies. I don't know why, but like the Goonies dads, and that's their kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get involved in an adventure. I feel like that. Or no, it's not. You know what it is? It would almost make sense that it is too.
What's that?
Gremlins.
That's a good one. Yeah. So it would be
ending to bring back Phoebe Cates to acting in any capacity.
Right, as long as that would be very important. That would be
Phoebe'd
key.
have to be involved.
That would
or
be
I'm out.
key.
I need Joe Dante. I need Phoebe Cates.
Gotcha.
Zach Galligan, maybe you met with some horrible accidents. Sorry, Zach. I'd love to see you back too. But yeah, no, yeah. I think a Christmas horror film.
Yeah.
With Gremlins.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
We're printing money.
What would be the one? I don't think they should do this because I think it's the first one is a perfect film and the two sequels are pretty good, but I feel like Back to the Future is ripe for them to pick it up again. Now, I'm not saying I agree with that, but I feel like that's one that they would try and attempt to pick up again.
I don't know. That film is so contingent on its cast.
Yeah.
On the original people. Like I think Gremlins you can get away with just having like Galligan show up or something and do a whole new thing.
Sure.
I think Back to the Future is a lot harder. I don't know. I think you're wrong. I think it's Gremlins.
All right, we'll put that down on something that we'll never check ever again. I think it's Gremlins.
We should pitch it. Let's call Johnny Hollywood or Jimmy Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then let's pitch a Gremlins reboot.
All right.
I'm surprised. No, you know what? That's got to be happening. Hold on. Let's look that up. There's no way that someone's sitting, unless there's some kind of dispute, that there's not going to be like a Gremlins reboot. 2023, mentions of a Gremlins. The Wild Batch movie, 2024. It's not going to be a reboot, and that'll be a remake in any shape or form. Yeah. Oh, so something like this is already happening.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Does anyone feel like it's already lost media? Yeah, I guess there was an announcement and stuff, but it looks like it didn't go anywhere. All right, so take this as your cue there, Hollywood. There is Gremlins fever out there still.
There is. At least one guy.
There you go. Is Dante still with us?
I don't know.
He is. Yeah, because I think he sells stuff on eBay every now and then from his private collection. Yeah, Joe's still here. Good for him. Good. I'm happy to hear that. Me? Am I up? Sounds good.
Yeah.
Matt. So, with Speak No Evil, Now, you haven't seen the original, the 2022 version, but remakes changing film endings is blank.
Risky, but I understand it. Because if you kind of just do a straight remake, right, then what's the point? Because you've already seen the film the way it was the first time. The one that I think is the classic example is obviously Funny Games, which is shot for shot, like remake. Just one's in English and one's in not, right? But I can see where they, Chris says it's darker, so I'm assuming they probably made it a little better for an American audience, maybe a little more palatable for an American audience because we like our happy endings or happy-ish endings. So I think I'm okay with that. At least it brings a little bit of uncertainty to the proceedings.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I said earlier, I'm okay with it. I think it's fine. As long as the preceding film is good. Like, if you're going to give me a new ending and change things up, I need it to be good. I need to have something different, fresh, original, and something goes, oh, that works. Right? But if you're just going to change something just to change it, you better do it right. I guess that's all I'm going to say. So I think it can be fine. It depends on how everything ends up turning out. Because I guess if I had to choose like a preference, I'd probably say yes. Because then I'm going to have at least a different experience somewhat when I'm watching this remake.
Okay. Yeah.
So that, I guess, I'd say remake changing film endings is my preference.
Yeah. All right.
There you go.
All right. So our boy M. Night is in talks to write and direct Blank, a film in the MCU's mutant saga after Jordan Peele has passed.
Wait, is he going to get Blade?
No, it's
the mutants.
Mutant Saga is what they're apparently looking for him to write and direct.
I think it's a bad idea. What am I supposed to? What's my blank?
What's he? What property is he gonna be writing?
I hate
for?
this. I just don't think he should do it. I think he should stick with his thing. He's found his niche, and he should roll with it. But what is he gonna do? Here's the problem: is I'm not as high or not as well informed on anything X-Men related. Kind of post Chris Claremont's run outside of the Grant Morrison run.
Sure.
Like, I never read New Mutants. I think I read the first 3 years of X Factor.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Whenever Inferno, I think, was the last X Factor run I read.
Okay.
So what's he doing? Probably he's not. Like, he's not like a Guillermo del Toro. He's not like somebody I'd like to see do something really different or unusual.
Right.
And I feel like he's going to get saddled with like a. Man, I don't know, Matt. This stinks. I hate this question.
Do you want me to ask you a different question? I do have a separate X-Men question that I could ask you.
No, it's fine. I'm trying to think what it would be. So I'm going through my head. We've already had Days. The problem is, too, we've seen a lot of the big ones. We've already seen the Phoenix Saga. We've seen Days of Future Past.
Right.
So he's going to do... Yeah. Wait, did they do Age of Apocalypse? Yeah, they did. Yeah, with Oscar Isaac. Oh, yeah, that movie was bad. That's bad. Yeah, hell, well, all right. Let's have him do... you know what? I didn't read it. I just know it happened, maybe. The Genosha one, where they go to the mutant
island or whatever, yeah.
I don't even know what happens. What happens in that? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think basically it's run by Magneto, and bad stuff happens. I didn't read it.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll say that.
Sure.
I would rather he just keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Putting out these entertaining little pulp B-movie films and just churn them out every 2 years, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
But, hey, if he's getting paid, good for him.
Yeah. I don't know. So, in my mind, these would be what I want them to do, but I don't think... They'll never do it, okay?
Yep.
One, the run as a completely just separate, doesn't matter, where Spider-Man comes and teaches all of the kind of low-level reject mutants at Xavier's school with no real good powers, and he tries to bring them up as to be actual, superheroes, which I think was a fun little run. Because they're not mutants though, but like Cloak and Dagger, and like bringing in maybe like Mr. Sinister into it somehow, because I think they do. I think that's like one of the last big X villains that we've ever seen before. Mm-hmm. But in reality, I don't know if I really trust him to do like a big world-changing event.
Yeah, like I would have said Inferno, but I don't want.
Yeah,
I just don't think he can pull that off.
See, I didn't know like House of M, where maybe it's Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, instead of making no more mutants, she's like inventing mutants, and that's how we get the actual, mutants in the X-Men. I don't really know into the proper MCU. But
what about Dazzler?
Dazzler, that would be.
You can have his daughter.
Yeah, there you go. See, I was trying to think of like one-off. Like I don't feel like he'd be good in a team setting, but I was having trouble thinking of like a one-off character in the X universe.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Dazzler's it. That's my final answer. Dazzler he's going to do a Dazzler movie, and it's going to be fantastic.
Okay. I'd actually watch that. You could hire his daughter because she's a disco singer star, right?
That's right.
In the original comic?
Yeah, singer. She does light effects, runs around on in a pantsuit and some roller skates. Fantastic.
Done and done. All right, I'm on board with a Dazzler film by M. Night Shyamalan. Why not? All right, Matt. I don't know if you had a chance to see the trailer. I should have asked you if you did before asking you this question.
Mm-hmm.
So we may just move on. The long shelved New Salem's Lot looks blank.
Like a big budget TV movie is what it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic that I'll enjoy it, but I won't. I don't have high hopes for it. It very much looks like a TV film, but at the same time, what we have is a TV film, so it can only has any way to go but up as far as the budget and the production values go.
It's too bad David Soul is passed on. He could have done a little cameo or something.
Yeah.
So Gary Dauberman, he wrote, directed, and produced it. He also wrote The Nun. Whew. And a couple, if not, he actually wrote all 3 Annabelle films. So what, 1 for 3?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then he didn't write The Nun 2. He just produced it. Good. I don't have to blame him for that. Yeah, we also did that Swamp Thing show, which is supposed to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I actually bought that because it was like $10 and I really
Yeah.
wanted to watch it, but I didn't have the DC Universe expanded thing to pay for it.
Yeah.
I have yet to watch it, but I always like Swamp Thing, and it's supposed to be got some nice horror elements. Though I got a friend of the show there, Jason on Binge Movie, said it's not that great. It has some good moments, but it's
too bad.
Anyway, so yeah, I agree with you, Matt. I think it does look like a TV. I think it just looks. I'm concerned it's going to be a little just underwhelming.
Sure.
That we'll see how he handles fully that classic visual of the kid floating in at the kid's window and all that. But
man, that is a creepy scene. That is, in the book, that's a creepy scene. Even in the 80s TV movie, that is a creepy scene. And so this was the first Stephen King book I read, and it's probably his most straight up, just classic monster horror book that he has. And it has some great scenes in it. Like the opening scene when the kids are getting stalked in the woods is just so tense and creepy. But so I think there's going to be some really interesting parts of this. I think there's going to be some really good scenes, but overall, I think some of it's going to just fall apart under its own weight.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah. All right, so Josh Brolin has passed on playing Hal Jordan in.
I thought he died.
on the
that
Lantern.
pause, that little pregnant pause there, has passed. What?
Yes, he's passed on playing Hal Jordan in the HBO Warner Brothers Lanterns show. So, Hal Jordan will be played by blank.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds. No, I don't know. Who's a youngish kind of white guy who,
I think they're going with distinctly middle-aged Hal in this.
Oh, they want him to be like a mentor type.
Yeah.
I think what the problem is, who have they hired as Guy Gardner, I think, is who should be Hal. Is it Nathan Fillion? I think he would have been a good Hal. Who is Yeah. Yep. It's Nathan.
Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, he's gonna be. Is it Fillion? Am I saying it wrong? Yeah, Fillion. Yeah, he's gonna be in Superman Legacy.
Okay.
So, I wonder if he's gonna have the bowl cut.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah. Man, it's disappointing. But I guess Fillion would pull that off though, because he can do arrogant really well. I'll go with that guy. Nicholas Hoult.
Who?
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult? All right.
He got screwed out of Batman a couple times, right?
Yeah. I still think he's too young.
Not sure you want a middle-aged guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Holt's got to be in his 30s now, doesn't he?
Yeah, but Josh Brolin's in like his late 50s?
34. All right, so what am I? Well, Tom Hanks? All right, how about Daniel Craig? That would be good. Christian Bale. Matt Damon. No. I don't think he would ever do it. I don't know. I don't see him doing that.
I think he learned from Ben Affleck.
Ruffalo's a Hulk already. Jude Law was in Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not coming back. Leo? You want to do Leo? I don't want to do Leo.
Leo would not want to work out at all.
She could. I don't think he'd do it. I could see. Well, how old is Gosling? Gosling's not that old. He's 40, 45, 44.
Yeah, but he's like a Hollywood 44.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm not.
So here are the other
Who
some
do
of
you
the
have
other
in
names.
mind?
I'll have my choice. I have my blank filled in, but two of the other names that have been kicked around are Ewan McGregor and Matthew McConaughey, which I hate for some reason.
No.
I really do not like. But honestly, the Southern accent cornponeness, I would pick Timothy Oliphant, especially if we're going to have
good.
If we're going to have Hal Jordan on the edge of going insane like he did in the early 2000s, mid 90s or late 90s run.
That's good. I like that answer. I could also throw out. I think that's it. I think Oliphant's it, but I could do like a Sam Rockwell too.
Yeah, he would be good.
So there you go. Yeah, I think that's it. Those are your two choices, Hollywood. Make a call. Make a decision.
Sam Rockwell or Timothy Oliphant, you can't go wrong.
Either one. Can't. Either one of those will be good.
Yeah.
Good times. All right, what do you think, folks? What's your fill in the blank for this? How would you fill in that blank?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Good.
It's getting weird.
Perfect.
Just an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, I know what's on the calendar for next week is a Transformers movie, but I did not realize that the Halle Berry horror film Don't Let Go, that's also coming out, is an Asia joint.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But what is on the calendar is not a Transformers film.
Oh, what is it?
It is the Demi Moore, Margot Qualley
body
Substance. Horror film called The Substance.
Is that even coming out, though?
I have no idea, but that's what's on the calendar.
Here yet?
Yeah. But I'm always down for a nausea joint.
All right, we'll have to see what's going on. I don't even know then if that's going to be out here this. I think that's like what the official date is, but I don't know if it's actually, going to be out.
Well, I guess the other thing is if 4:30 movie comes out wider, I guess we could go see that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on that. I think that's going to be like a week and out.
Really?
Yeah, I'm checking my AMC right now. Whiplash 10th anniversary. How about that? Yep, no, Substance is playing by... Oh, no, it's not. Oh, wait, yes, it is. It's weird. It has like, sorry, no showtimes are near you, and then it has showtimes at my theater that I go to.
Okay.
So, all right, I do have the Substance on my available for me.
Let's see if I got it. That's always...
Oh,
I do, yeah. The Substance I can catch, yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll do the Substance, and we can catch up with... I guess we can try and catch up with Asia maybe later.
Never Let Go?
Yeah. Like, because his last one, the alligator one or crocodile one, that was pretty darn good.
But I mean, they're both available. We could go see Never Let Go instead. instead of The Substance, I'm fine with that.
I don't know. Substance is by the director who did Revenge, which was pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And I would guess maybe we can make it a game time decision. But I keep hearing, Substance I think did really well at Cannes.
Okay.
It's supposed to be really good and really disturbing and scary and freaky, which, is right up my wheelhouse. I love all that stuff. I don't know. All right. We'll be seeing some next week. In the meantime, you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually you'll find us. Head over to Apple Podcasts. Give us a review. It'll help other people find the show. Tell your friends. Tell your parents. Tell everybody. Hey, The First Run's a fun show. It's your favorite movie uncles talking about movies. So I guess, is that it? Is that everything? TheFirstRun.com, archives of all the old shows. The report card is basically updated except for the last episode and this one. And I'll probably update it again soon. And you can find a whole bunch of stuff at TheFirstRun.com. And I guess that's that. So Matt, why don't we go ahead and I can't find my soundboard. Where's my soundboard? Take an extended break. We will talk to you guys all again soon. We love you very much. Take care. Goodbye. Enjoy the stinger this week. Try not to get too scared.
Let me in.